I'm going to venture back to a podcast that I uploaded with Charlotte Witzke called Actors on Your Stage. I think it was episode 63. This was one of the more important podcasts that I had done because of the depth of conversation and especially exploring the unconscious self, our limiting false beliefs. Now, I talk about the belief systems a lot because it is so integral. It's a really important aspect of ourselves to understand and to grasp that we have many different belief systems. Even, for example, the one belief that I am not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, can stem into many different belief systems from that alone. And this is a very complex part of ourselves. It's a very complex aspect of ourselves that took me a long time to fully understand within myself, especially. But the Actors on Your Stage offers you a huge ability to understand what people are showing you about yourself. Now, it ties also into the triggers video that I uploaded a little while ago in regards to how we can tend to project back to people or how we can become so emotionally triggered by other people. I also want to preface that sometimes situations that show up in our lives with others is a bit random. Not every single, I say, situation has a purpose or a meaning behind it, although what it does teach us is how we are responding to certain situations and what is becoming activated within ourselves. I'll give an example of a situation. So for example, if I am confident with what I'm talking about, with what I'm sharing, I put myself out there and people start attacking me, people start going out of their way to make my life hell, essentially. What could be happening in my unconscious self is I have a belief that can come from hundreds of years. It can come from past life. It can come from family, ancestral beliefs. It can come from being conditioned in early life. Perhaps if I was a child and I wasn't able to speak my truth, maybe I was punished or criticized or judged for it. These beliefs form within our unconscious self and have some kind of effect in our outer world, in how we show up, in how we talk, in how we present ourselves, but also in how we interact with others, and also how we can also trigger other people. This is a web of experiences. I also have to mention that this experience of understanding our unconscious self, their beliefs, and our interactions with other people is not to be overly hard on ourselves, but truly through my experience of going through this exercise, working through this exercise, I've learned so much about myself and I've been able to remove a lot of triggers. And this is the beauty of this work. Once we shine light on our unconscious limiting, false limiting beliefs within ourselves, we set ourselves free. We shine light on aspects within our unconscious self that is waiting for us to find. It's waiting for us to explore. It's waiting for us to see. And once we illuminate it, then we get to move on. We get to set ourselves free, then things don't trigger us as much. And we also start to change the relationship dynamics in our outer world. So going back to the situation, say, for example, I'm expressing myself, I'm speaking my truth, and people start attacking me. I may have a core underlying belief that if I speak my truth, I will be attacked. The world is unsafe if I am in my truth. The world is maybe unsafe in general. And so we can also perpetuate cycles unconsciously with those around us, inspiring their behavior towards us. But also, as I mentioned, some of those behaviors may be random of how people treat us. But if there's a pattern, especially if there's a pattern, there's something happening within ourselves that we are projecting or we are sending out towards others unconsciously. And I know it's a tricky exercise. It's difficult to do. It's difficult to navigate because this happens within aspects within ourselves we can't see, aspects that we don't necessarily live by in our conscious level of awareness. But I encourage you, if there are patterns, especially with people in your life, maybe reoccurring issues, reoccurring stories, reoccurring types of people who enter your life, there is a pattern there that needs to be addressed. And once you address it within yourself, once you see it and observe it in your outer world and then address it within yourself, what is in there that needs to be looked at? And no one is immune to this. We all have this within ourselves. But once we address again those patterns or how we are feeling or the type of person that's showing up or their behaviors that keeps coming into our life over and over and over again, we get to break that cycle by changing how we feel about ourselves and how we feel about the world and relationships as well. So if we unconsciously feel that relationships are unsafe, or that other people are unsafe, or that the world is unsafe, and I'm unable to speak my truth, I'm unable to express myself or be all I want to be or be authentic, then there's going to be some kind of indicator representing that belief system within ourselves. Something in the outside world is going to show us that belief system within. And it truly requires a completely different way of looking at ourselves and of our life. Again, not from the ego of blaming and criticizing, being hard on ourselves or hard on other people, but by looking within through curiosity, especially compassion and care. I've gone through all of this myself. This has been a very profound exercise that has led me to incredible change within my life. Breaking patterns, becoming more empowered, discovering more about myself, and also healing relationships in my life that I thought were beyond repair. Everything is changeable, everything. Nothing is set in stone, especially the unhealthy patterns that we live by based on our false beliefs that we have within ourselves. And we have true beliefs. We have true beliefs of all we can be, of who we truly are, what we desire, what lights us up, our gifts, our talents, the loving and nurturing relationships that we have in our lives. And there are people who will show that within ourselves, who will show that as a mirror towards ourselves, empowering ourselves, inspiring ourselves. So there are many different ways that this actors on our stage can be observed. But I want to encourage you to reflect as to the relationship dynamics in your life, perhaps, if there are any patterns. And what is the story or belief pertaining to those patterns? How could those stories and beliefs change in order for you to alter those interactions with other people? It's a little bit of a game. It's a little bit of a scavenger hunt, if you will. But this is how we also find and remember who we truly are, especially through relationships. Relationships are so difficult, aren't they? They create a lot of emotions within ourselves. They open up wounds within ourselves, deep, deep, deep within. But for us to face, for us to understand ourselves more so we can become more whole. You are on center stage. You are in charge of your life. This is your story, your life. How do you want to live it? Who do you want to be as a result? And what are the people in your life trying to show you? What are they trying to show you? Even the good or the bad or the ugly, what are they trying to show you about yourself? And this is not about being hard on yourself. This is not about, again, being blameful or ashamed or discouraged. It's through the lens of curiosity. This is the game that we are in. It is a little bit of a game. And when you find that gold, when you find that golden nugget, when you find that hint, that clue, the aha moment, the opening, you become released. You shift your reality into something completely different. You shift yourself, and then you start to become more aligned and more whole as a result. And those relationship dynamics are going to change. It's the ripple effect that goes outward. So the actors on your stage are showing you something, especially the ones that create an emotional response. You can change those emotional responses. You can look at them. You can alter them. You can shine light on them and then free yourself towards something more empowered and more aligned, etc. And there is no end to many things, even though there are hard ends with certain relationships, which that is fine. And if there are relationships that need to be cut out, that is perfectly fine. Set your boundaries, know your worth. Maybe they're teaching you how to establish healthier boundaries or greater boundaries within yourself. Part of it is random. Part of it is a random experience, random generator, but part of it also is going to show you a lot and is going to give you a lot of information about yourself and in context with relationships in the outer world. Not everything has a meaning behind it. I also have to preface this as a very small disclaimer. Not everything has a complete meaning to it. And by that, I mean, we can sometimes find ourselves searching for meanings with everything. But as I mentioned, some of life is just random. And there is the randomness of life falling into some kind of place and some kind of order in a weird way. But the patterns, the ones that create meaning or create an emotional response or create something deeper within yourself, are definitely available to be explored. And actors don't necessarily mean people either. They could be a work situation. It could be where you are in your life. It can be an object. It can be a pet, as Charlotte mentioned in the podcast. It can be anything. Anything that creates some kind of visceral response, something from the depths, emotional, frustration, anger, fear, sadness, resentment, grief, guilt. These are all available for us to explore the true root cause of those emotions and to break cycles. All right. So I hope this offered a bit more guidance on your path forward. Make sure to check out the Shadow Project. The link is below. You can become a member and be part of the Shadow Project and uncover all of these aspects within yourself for liberation, for transformation and wholeness. It is self-guided with, of course, myself available to help you on your journey. And I'm wishing you all the best in general, regardless, on your path forward and beyond. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Take care.